Hello, everyone. Welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick. Nick with two eyes like piss holes in the snow, which I'll go on to talk about in a minute. As always, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe. Don't forget, drop a like on the video. Well, look, let's clear this up first, because you're probably thinking, what has happened to him? I'm just incredibly hungover. I've had 2 nights of it. So I was out of a client on Friday night. That was heavy enough. And then on Saturday, we had a party, a barbecue around my missus's boss's new house in Epping. Was there from 2 in the afternoon, and I've never been so brutally messed up in all my life. Honestly, great hosts, but just relentless beer, red wine, tequila, cocktail. You finish your cocktail, it's pulled back up again. Resulted in me being sick over the back fence very sneakily. I'm just going to go and have a smoke. Went down the end of the garden, straight over the back fence, and then got a cab on the way home. Had to lean out the window, text the back of the car and the windscreen of the bloke behind us on the M25. And yeah, I ain't been... Look at the eyes. It's grim, innit? Yeah, bloodshot to hell. So anyway, look, that's why I look fucked, because I am fucked. I'm feeling slightly better. Nonetheless, I didn't know I was going to have tickets for the game today. I'm going to get into the game in a minute. So I made a phone call to someone when I was mid-session yesterday, and I said, if you can get us 2 tickets, can you sort me out, and I'll go tomorrow. Anyway, you can imagine how I felt when I woke up this morning, got the phone call to say, you've got 2 tickets, Nick, you've got them. I'm like, oh no. So I got in the shower, got ready, we drove, and the car basically failed. Ended up in the services, had to wait for recovery for quite some time, but we just watched the game. Me and my boy watched the game in the car, and yeah, was brilliant and devastating at the same time, because you just saw the fun that the fans were having there, and it should have been me. I should have been in there, because the fans were brilliant, because they have a fan zone in Nottingham. I don't know whether you know. So it's like, I think it's a Notts County. I've got an arena. So pre-game, you've got the away fans have got a fan zone. So they've had all that drinking beforehand. Not that I could have done any drinking, but and then they went on to have that experience. Yeah, but what a game! What a game! Honestly, I really didn't believe that Graham Potter had it in him to look. All these managers know what they're doing. They've got their badges for a reason, but I just thought he's another stubborn manager. He's obviously bought into this system, this wing-back system. He ain't going to dump it no matter what. He's got to try and make it work, because he's bought... I'm looking at myself. I just look terrible. He's got to prove himself right. Well, he didn't. You know, he did the right thing. He binned it. We went to a 4-2-3-1. We had Kyle Walker-Peters right back instead of Wan-Bissaka, who played really, really well. Diouf at left back. Mavropanos and Kilman both had really good games as centre-backs. Solid, settled, simple. No issues at all. Just in front of them, you had James Ward-Prowse and Souček. Were fine. But then in front of that, you had Bowen, Paqueta, and the new boy, Fernandez, who had a brilliant game as well. And up front, you had Fulkrug. Now, the first half was just a really good, solid defensive performance, and I was happy with it. I weren't moaning. I was happy with his shape. I thought I was getting a bit frustrated with Fulkrug because the ball weren't sticking. He weren't allowing us to get up the field. What he was trying to do was wrestle with the defenders, and Milenkovic and the other guy were just coping with it really, really easily. But yeah, it was. I weren't impressed with him at all. You know, he was using no intelligence whatsoever. You saw as soon as Wilson came on, he's got movement. You know, when I was pumping the ball to Wilson, he'd either go to the ball or he'd back into a defender and win a foul. So it was just more intelligent. He gave us so much more, Wilson. Do you know what? I'm starting to like him. Everything that I've said. We're fickle, aren't we? West Ham fans. We really are. But the first half, bit of a non-event, apart from one chance that Lucas Paqueta had created by a bit of interplay, Diouf, and then Fernandez whizzing through at pace on the left-hand side of the 18-yard box. Cuts it back to Paqueta, who slipped as he hit the ball with his left foot, but he forced a great save. One for the cameras, I think but it was a good save. That was the best chance of the first half. Second half, no changes, unexpected. I was starting to feel at that point, because I never believed for a minute we was going to get anything out today. In fact, my prediction before the game was 6-0 Forest. Because you're buying into everything. We're going to talk about the other stuff afterwards. You know, the Paqueta rumours, Aguero. I'm going to get into that. It all fed into this real awful feeling. And I just didn't expect the commitment that I saw. I didn't expect the change of shape from Potter. I didn't expect the players to be as they were. We looked like a proper team. We was growing into it. Second half they came out. They Nottingham Forest, they had a good spell. So they were. I mean, both teams were. It felt like the game opened up a little bit. So we was pushing, but they looked better initially. And I just feel like that only lasted for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then they faded because they never really tested Hermansen too much, not really. And then Irving comes on for James Ward-Prowse. I think we started to look better at that point, not digging James Ward-Prowse out. I just think that Irving gave us more, and we started to grow into the game more at that point. But the real turning point was when, after Wilson came on, we brought Somerville on. So it was really the last sort of 10, 15 minutes. Although the second half was really good as a whole. But for that sort of period where we scored that what was it, 3 goals in about 7 minutes, 8 minutes? It was after Somerville came on. So, you just forget how explosive that guy is. He's a proper fucking live wire, isn't he? I mean, if you look at that, we're not going to miss Kudus in the slightest, are we? Let's face it. Yeah, I must stop looking. I can't believe how fucked I look. That's so bad. But anyway, Jimmy does some great work. The ball manages to sort of wangle its way through to Bowen, who strikes it on the half turn from 18, 20 yards out. Perfect precision strike with his left foot in the bottom corner. 1-0. Felt like it was out of the blue. You saw the celebrations, the crowd erupted. It was just brilliant because the fans were behind that goal as well. And then shortly after that, you've got Lucas Paqueta pings a ball through to Jimmy. Lucas Paqueta wins the ball back and then pings it over the top. Jimmy's gone through, just absolutely roasted. Was it Sangari who stuck a leg out? Won a penalty. And then the most beautiful moment of the game, Lucas Paqueta, right? Honestly, I could have cried. In fact, I very nearly did. I was feeling emotional at that point. It weren't the penalty, which he was nailed on to score. It was the celebration afterwards, and that was personal. That was personal for him to the fans, because the whole way through that half, you could hear it before the game, the fans singing his name, and for him to do that, and because we've got all of this shit coming from Romano, here we go, here you go, fuck off, doing all of this to us. It's like we can't look forward to anything. We got the news that we signed Fernandez, which we should have all been celebrating. That's good news. He's a good player. But then, in typical West Ham style, and this was messages coming from the club as well, being leaked from agents and stuff like that, because there's been people trying to sell Paqueta. We get fear-stricken, or most of us with a brain that appreciate how good Paqueta is, get fear-stricken that we're going to lose him. So, and then we was like, is he going to be on the team sheet? Is he going to be there, or did he not travel? Because there was rumours that he weren't going to be on the bus. So for him to just basically dismiss it and tear it all up, run up to the fans, do that kind of, I've had a phone call, fuck off, I'm going nowhere. Kissing the badge, beating his chest. He means it. He means it. That's not an Arnautovic character there. He fucking means it. He ain't going nowhere. He's not. And I'll tell you what he's proven. He's proven that if we do sell Lucas Paqueta, that's Sullivan. We can see that Potter wants to play him and build his team around him. We can see the player wants to stay. He's happy. So if West Ham sell Lucas Paqueta tomorrow, that is Sullivan. That's what that is. Wonderful moment. Absolutely wonderful. An effortless penalty. He does a little stutter, doesn't he? And then slots it in the bottom left-hand corner. Wonderful celebration. 2-0. Crowd's going fucking mental. I'm just thinking 2-0. Where's this come from? And then, because Nottingham Forest sort of folded at that point. You had Somerville involved again. He fed the ball to Diouf on the left-hand side, who whizzes in a beautiful cross to Callum Wilson. Brilliant textbook header. Heads it down into the ground, bounces up into the corner of the net. But it weren't the header that was the most impressive bit. If you watch the replay, it's his movement. Fucking weaving in and out, in and out, in and out. The defender didn't know what to do. I just thought that was a real tremendous performance. That was kind of a 10 out of 10 from the team. In terms of effort, it was a 10 out of 10 from the manager as well. He gets a lot of shit from me. He's still not my favourite manager. He's still got a lot to prove as far as I'm concerned. That's one game, but that is a fucking start. If I start seeing more of that, I'm not that stubborn. You know, if I can start seeing that he's willing to change and give us some attacking football and give us some excitement and give us moments like that, then do you know what? Fine, I don't care who's in the dugout. All I care is that person that does have that job is producing moments like this and sort of giving the team freedom. And you saw that today. You saw 100% commitment from all the players, but they also had freedom. They didn't feel like they was shackled. You know, Paqueta was popping up wherever he wanted, including Fernandes as well. They was rotating. They was kind of going where they needed to be. It felt a lot more fluid, a lot more dynamic, a lot more natural. It felt more like the team was instructed to go out there and be solid, but go and play. It felt like there was no real system there. There was nothing that you could look at there. You know, that was what I would call, and it weren't all Paqueta, but that's what I would call like Paqueta ball or Fernandes ball. We've literally gone out there in like an old-fashioned way, and we've defended really tough, like when we had Payet, and we've built the team around our best players who were just allowed to go and orchestrate things. And that's what we've got to do. Look how much better it was. It was brilliant. So I hope that Potter hasn't just sort of dodged the bullet and then he'll go back to trying to prove he's right about the wing-back system. None of us care about that wing-back system. We don't ever want to see it again. None of us ever do, ever again. You know, you don't need sacking if you go back to the wing-back system. You need a fucking firing squad, mate. That's what you need. So, no way. Night and day. Far better performance. All the players look better. Bowen looked back to his old self, particularly in the second half. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, yeah. I'm not going to talk on too much more because I'm making myself sad looking at my face. See, kids, this is why you shouldn't drink. Honestly. That is the first time I've been sick for a long time now. I can't remember the last time I've been sick. I'm a big man. I can take a lot of booze. But they killed me. They absolutely fucking killed me yesterday. So, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the game. It was brilliant. Great to have that lift going into an international break as well. And we've got Spurs when we come back. And after that, it gives you a bit of confidence. It does. We've still got Guillaume to come back as well. Hopefully we'll make a few signings on deadline day, you know, just before that window closes. Go out and get another centre-back because let's talk about Aguerd, that little absolute, I'm going to say it, he's a wanker. He is a wanker. Right, I've stuck up for him. I thought he was a good player, but we all know what he did, you know, before the World Cup when he ruled himself out with an injury because he didn't want to get injured for the, was it? No, it was for the AFCON, wasn't it? That was about 18 months ago. He did that, and he's no commitment from that player. And the rumours, and they ain't just rumours, because I've heard this myself from people that would know. Right, so this isn't rumours. That fucker has demanded to move. Apparently, Sullivan was fuming with him and threatened to fine him 2 weeks' wages. He's going, I don't care. Fine me. I'm not getting on that bus. It's not happening. So he didn't. He's gone. He's finished. He's dust. As far as I'm concerned, if we don't sell him, go and let him rot in the under-21s and don't let him fucking even mix with the first team. Honestly, I don't know. You ain't that good, mate. You ain't fucking Isaac. And I don't think it's right what Isaac's done. I don't know who you think you are. So no. I mean, what we're going to get for him anyway? What, 8 million, 9 million? Fuck off. Just if you've got to make an example of him, make an example of him. Stop other players doing the same thing in the future. So now, if we can get rid of him, I hope we do. But yeah, but not at a loss, because otherwise, what we're allowing him to do is get his own way. He wants to leave for how much he thinks he's worth, and his agent thinks. I'd be like, no. They either pay this, or you got to stay here, mate, and you got to, you know, you've just fucking written off another year of your career. So, no, as far as I'm concerned, Aguerd, fuck off. You ain't a West Ham player no more, not at all. Paqueta's a West Ham player. Paqueta's a player that could, if he wanted to, go to any club in England. If he wanted to, he could go to any club in Europe, but he's not. You know, he could throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I know people are saying, the club are saying, you know, we've stood by him and he owes us this year. What do you mean they've stood by him? He's a massive asset. Of course they're going to help him legally. They're protecting their money. They ain't done that because they love him. So they've had to stick by him because he's under contract. We've supported him. The fan base have. The club, no. All they've been doing is protecting their asset. He didn't owe them anything. I think Lucas Paqueta, I think he's loyal to us. He loves the fans. He ain't loyal to them. Not at all. He don't need to be. That was a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful moment. Brilliant debut from Fernandes. Really good. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. I love the link-up play between them two. You saw it start to grow as the game went on. They really are on the same wavelength. He's got a lot of pace, a lot of legs. He snaps into a tackle. He's very direct. You know, exactly what we need. Really good signing. Yeah, I know I said, I still think we overpaid, but if you're overpaying for the right player, don't really matter, does it? You know, it doesn't matter. He's going to be in our team, and he's made our team better. Hermansen looked a lot more assured today. He didn't really get tested, but he made no mistakes. So that's good. So, yeah, all good. All good on the West Ham front. I'm going to go... I don't know. If you've got any suggestions in the chat on how I can make me face look less sad, let me know. I woke up feeling so bad that I wanted fruit. It's like my body was craving nutrients. So I've had 2 watermelons. I've had about 2 pints of orange juice. Yeah, I don't feel too good. So anyway, look, I'm going to let you go. Stop looking at this ugly mug. Hopefully I'll look a little bit fresher tomorrow. And I'll speak to you later. All right? Come on, you ones. Well done, Potter, on that one. Speak to you soon.